essa vitória.
A warm welcome to Rustenburg Film Festival.
And this year we are bigger, better and better.
But before we go any further, a word from our VIP.
Every filmmaker wants to screen at a festival and have an opportunity to experience audience react to their films and engage in Q&As. Jury members from various countries convene to rate the films in order to determine nominees and winners. I wish all films in competition the best.
Rustenburg Film Festival started far back as Bojanala Film Week.
And in 2020, it was rebranded to Rustenburg Film Festival.
And to date, we have over 1,000 filmmakers that have benefited from workshops and information sessions.
This year, Rustenburg Film Festival went into full screening mode, inviting filmmakers from all over the world to submit their stories.
This year, we received 453 film submissions from 33 countries. 55 films from 16 countries were selected.
The Rustenburg Film Festival was inspired by seeing a lot of graduates, especially in the Northwest province, not being able to access the industry, especially within our province. And then again, seeing a lot of people that were interested in the industry and could not afford going to film school and so forth. So we decided to build a platform where we can have all these filmmakers and wannabe filmmakers to come together and network and have access to the information pertaining the film industry.
As a festival, our key mandates are to develop filmmakers in Rustenburg and Northwest in general. We do this by programming workshops which are relevant to their times and getting very well experienced filmmakers to facilitate.
Another key mandate of the Rustenburg Film Festival is to promote. We promote talent through screening in various platforms, exposing the talented filmmakers to key industry players.
Our key mandate that happens organically at the festival is Connect. It is at this time where we bring broadcasters, funders, distributors, sellers, buyers, anybody who is important in the value chain under one roof. As a festival, we are grateful to the stakeholders that have been with us since the beginning. We are very excited to have retained some of them and really looking forward to be having more stakeholders on board so that we are able to reach out more to the people who really need to be part of our journey.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, good afternoon. I'm going to put us live now. Mr. Lebone, you can go ahead, sir. How are you, Mr. Ishmael?
Hi, good afternoon.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm so sorry. We are stuck between very bad internet and we are stuck between load shedding and all those things. Yeah, it's not easy.
It's even a bit noisy this side.
Yeah, who would have guessed we all would need internet?
Come again?
Would have guessed we would need internet so desperately in our lifetime that we can't do without internet.
Unfortunately not, eh?
Yes. So while we are waiting for our moderator to connect, or there he is, we can maybe get started by your introduction, just who you are and which organization you are with.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Ishmael Khokong. Substantively, I'm a Chief Director for Tourism Development in the Department of Economic Development, Environment, Conservation and Tourism, but now I'm seconded to the Northwest Parks Board. After acting as a CEO, I'm now the acting Chief Marketing Officer for the Parks Board here in the Northwest.
Okay, that's wonderful. Lebone, if you are you can continue, sir. Okay, so Lebone is also seems to be having internet connection. So sorry about that, Mr. Ishmael. But we are going to sort of do our best as we wait for. I'm sure you hear me. Can you hear me, Ishmael?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. So what is your take in terms of film and tourism? What do you think? Do you think there is a connection? And of course, that is before we go to how film promotes heritage. Just a connection between film and tourism. What is your take on that?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, man. I think there's a relation between tourism and film. Because you would understand that when certain destinations are documented, either through film or any other mode, in terms of consumption by other people out there, so sometimes it can actually increase the propensity to travel to those areas to go and see for yourself. I may just give an example. If you remember the first James Bond film, I can't remember the name. I actually had the opportunity of going to Phuket, where actually that film was filmed, because I needed to be there at that place, and I saw it by my eyes. I was a tourist then, so there is a direct correlation between film and tourism, and I think they complement each other very well.
Okay, thank you very much for that. And now let's come to promoting heritage through film. I mean, we have seen a lot of films. For instance, the Americas, they have been very good with preaching that message that that America can save the world, and elevating themselves. You know, we see the American flag everywhere. You know, culture becomes something that becomes very, very common through film. What is your take on promoting our heritage through film?
For me, it's a very, very important aspect because, like you are talking about the Americans. If you look at their films, they're actually promoting their culture. If you look at the certain places where they actually shoot, they shoot in some heritage sites and so forth and so on. So for me, really, I know that in South Africa, we're not really doing much about this. But for me, it is very, very critical that we promote our heritage through film, because even out there, people may then begin to understand us as South Africans, either through looking at our own culture and perhaps our own heritage sites, where we may be filming so forth. So for me, really, I so wish that more could be done to make sure that we promote our heritage through film, because it can go worldwide.
Yes, yes, indeed. And thank you so much for that. I mean, Levone, if you can hear us now, Levone is really also struggling with his internet, Mr. Ismail. He's the moderator for this session. But like I said, we understand internet troubles are everywhere. We are going to keep going. Hopefully, we won't get disconnected at some
The
point.
strange thing is that I can hear you, but that's sad.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Libonia, we can't seem to get a clean connection from you. So, Mr. Ishmael, I I really appreciate your response. And there is a call out now, if I can say it, on I think it's the DTIC. The DTIC has a call out for filmmakers who want to create stories about our heroes. The call is out right now, so anybody who is listening can go to DTI's website and Google it and check it. But basically, the call is about creating films, telling stories about the people that are unsung, our heroes, just to keep up with our heritage. They have made a call out. They are supporting filmmakers. What's your take on such initiatives? Because I see really government coming in and being the major player in inducing this promotion that needs to happen of our heritage.
I strongly believe that as South Africans, we've got a very, very rich history, unlike many other countries, because you would understand that, as a country, we've gone through a lot, and we have now, changed gear into some other form under circumstances. I think it's a brilliant call to make sure that, the world starts to really understand what South Africa is all about. And if they were talking about our heroes, indeed, from the days of the struggle, whoever that has done good for humanity in this country, it is a very, very good call as far as I'm concerned. And I'm just hoping that, this call is going to bear fruit. We don't want situations where we make such calls and then at the end of the day, we don't commit to ensuring that, whatever that you have called for happens. Because as far as I'm concerned, this is very, very, very important for us as well.
Yes, yes. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Now we have someone else joining us. I'm not sure who that is. Please introduce yourself, sir. Hopefully you have got a good internet as well on your side. Can you hear us? The live stream is reading Kiba Petsi. Oh, it's Kiba. How's Kiba? But that's definitely not our skiver there that I see. Can you see that, Ishmael? Okay, they also seem to be having struggles with the internet. Mr. Ishmael, how are you connecting? You seem to be the one with the cleanest internet here.
Now, now I had to use my 3G, man. I think it's good.
Oh, that is super awesome. I really appreciate you for that. At
Yeah.
least you have made the experience a little more pleasant. You know, imagine if you were also freezing and everyone is
Yeah.
freezing. But I really think we got something from what you are sharing, and there is a sense that indeed it's a subject matter that is it's obvious because you can preserve your heritage, you can preserve your culture through books, through other means, you know, through passing it on from generation to generation. But passing it on through film sort of it gives us, I think for me, and I know I'm a filmmaker, but for me, it gives us more opportunities because with film, you can carry emotions, you can carry more things, you know, embedded into a film. Um, and I'm curious to sort of understand if ever you think there is an integration, there is a merger between the Parks Board and how film can also assist in that line. Is there anything? Have you ever thought of that?
In actual fact, as a Parks Board, you remember that we are basically responsible for transformation of the wildlife economy, whether in terms of empowering our people by them becoming owners of game farms and so on. But coincidentally, when I was invited to this session, I had just developed a film and photography policy for the Northwest Parks Board. Because that is where I think there will be an enticement to go into the wildlife to make film, because it is also part of our heritage. Unlike many other countries that may not necessarily have what we have, so it's very important, and I think it's a thought that has gone through the board. It has been there, just that opportunities have not been really been accruing to our people. But I think where there are proposals, there is a policy in place that would allow film and photography in our parks and reserves. And we are
wonderful.
committed to making sure that we present those opportunities.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yes, because I mean we see the popularity now of YouTube. I mean, YouTube has become so popular. Basically, content consumption, through video has become very, very common now that it's everybody is using video as a tool to really, preach the message that they're preaching. And I think we are almost out of time, but I want to see now if we are able to hear this gentleman who has joined us, but he hasn't got an opportunity to speak. It looks like now he's got a better internet connection. Hello, sir.
How are you? How are you, my brother?
Good, good, good. How are you?
Hey, yeah, we've been struggling the whole afternoon with network.
Yeah, no, hey, it's a common place. It's a common problem. Everybody, is struggling. Everyone is in your same situation. So do not worry. Maybe as you join us, just an introduction of who you are and which organization you represent first, just so that people can get a sense of who we are talking to today.
Okay, I am Mungweutsile Dingwe from the Department of Arts, Culture, Sports and Recreation in the Northwest Province from the language unit.
Yes, you can.
Can you hear me?
Pardon?
Oh no, I just wanted to check if you were able to hear me, sir. And to welcome you, because I've also been struggling to connect. Mr. B, are we on live?
Yes, we have been live. We've been chatting with Ishmael. I can just bring you up to speed. We have discussed issues on promoting
No, you
heritage.
don't have to. I logged on onto Facebook.
Okay.
I logged on onto Facebook just to hear what Mr. Ishmael was saying, and I was very excited about what he was saying about the national heritage of the Northwest, in particular the wildlife policy that he's developing. And I'd like to congratulate him significantly on that, because I think it all begins with policy, sir. And I come from a background where I used to work in policy development, and the questions that I really had around the discussion were more around those policy issues, to say, what is the current policy in the Northwest in terms of a provincial film development strategy that takes heritage into consideration? Is there a strategy and a policy at the moment, or are we relying only on the national policy? So yeah, that's why I would have liked to have just started the discussion, Mr. B.
Okay. You know, you can go ahead and respond to that, I think. Maybe
I don't know if my
can
colleagues
you
from the Northwest are able to just assist with.
ke ba thusa ka yone gore e bua ka bommatlotlo mo ka batho ba go diteng o batla go itse gore a go na le policy e leng in place for
Maybe you can.
heritage. Okay. Hello, Mr. B.
hello, hello. Yes,
Eric.
thank
Yes.
you.
I just want to clarify something, because we had invited the heritage unit be with us today, but they are not here because they had other engagements to attend to, and the festival specified that they are dealing with language as a heritage. That is why we have a Red Ingwe today, and not specifically people from the heritage unit. So Retingwe won't be able to answer the question that the gentleman just asked now, but he can talk on issues of language in films. That's the brief that we got. So I will, I will just give to Retingwe to maybe, with your guidance, to talk about language in films and the heritage of language in that regard.
Yes, please. Thank you for that.
Okay.
You can go ahead.
Should I go ahead?
Yes, sir. You can go ahead.
All right. From the government side, obviously we work on the mandate that is actually based on the previously marginalized languages. That is to develop them, to promote them, and to make sure that everyone is put on par, on board with everyone else. We know that previously languages like English, Afrikaans were the ones that were given more platform, or maybe should I say, they were the only ones that were used. But post colonial era, now we've got a mandate as per the constitution, as per the prescripts of PENSALP, that we need to develop, we need to promote those previously marginalized languages. But now here, the issue on the table is promoting South African heritage through film. But now, how can we improve or promote South African heritage in film using language it is very much important. There's no way that you can be cultural and not having any language. You must be aligned to a certain language. Um, we know that language is dependent on culture. Culture is dependent on language. There's no way that you can separate the two. Now, uh, film is a very powerful platform, just like all other forms of media that are used. You talk about the radio, the listenership there is massive. Look at the introduction of Mzansi Magic, those channels that opened opportunities for uh, aspiring young filmmakers. It gave them platforms to allow them to broadcast their films there. But now, the issue of language, the issue of culture, if maybe I cite the examples of our three major soapies, your generations, how does generation help us to promote language? How does it help us to promote culture? I don't think it's much. It's just one sided, and then you're looking at the efforts that Mubango is making. Okay, we can see the much of culture that is being propagated there, which is the Bavenda culture. So many people now are aware of the language. So many people are now aware of the culture of Bavenda. Uh, what about other what about other genres? What about other films? So the issue of language, the issue of culture, it can be also promoted massively by using film.
Okay. What's your take on that? Do you agree, Mr. Ishmael?
No, no, definitely agree because obviously you may not necessarily want to separate those issues. We need to be known by the way that we speak our language, the dialects, and so forth and so on. But to be honest, I think also as government, especially in the northwest, I'm not really wanting to step on anybody's toes or so on. But I think the emphasis that we put and the support that we want to give to people in this industry is not necessarily enough. I think if one was an outsider, one would want to seriously implore the responsible authorities to make sure that when you say you want to promote language, you want to promote heritage, you want to promote arts, like in the film industry and so on, let us be seen really to be true to that, so that as you promote our language and our heritage and so on, there are specific programs to support that we achieve that kind of objective.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I really agree with you, gentlemen, and thank you so much for sharing that insight. But before I let you go, as a filmmaker myself, I'm sure you have watched those films where someone talks in a strange language, but their lips are moving in another direction. That is, we call it dubbing. So we call it dubbing because imagine if I made a brilliant film and it's in Sepedi or it's Zulu or Xhosa, and then it gains a lot of interest in other countries to an extent that they say, no, bring it, even if it's in that, because it really looks authentic. What we are going to do is we are going to put our own language over it so that your people that were talking Xhosa suddenly look like they were talking Chinese. I don't know if you've ever come across that, and I want us to end on a lighter note there to say what do you think about about dubbing those stories, what's your take on that?
Anyway, But now, I think here, from the side of heritage, from the side of language background, I think we need to change the perspective in the in South African situation. Uh, can we at least now be try to be real and now focus on our cultures, focus on promoting our own languages? It is also something related to what we have just said. Very much bizarre to have someone, let's say, it's a Setswana film, and then you have someone from KwaZulu to come and play the role of someone who can speak Setswana properly. I don't think it's okay. The same applies to faking of some actions. You know, I've watched many films whereby maybe this thing of portraying a ngaka, a traditional healer, maybe making those noises, and we don't have such things. And believe you me, these are some of the things that maybe somehow did, portray our cultures as wild and barbaric sort of. I think we need to put all this into more real life stories, using more proper languages. That is in a way to develop culture. Like I've given an example of Mubango there. There's a lot that has changed with regard to Sevenda across the country. People can now greet in Sevenda. But now, why can't we have film as a platform to promote other languages? Uh, if we have a group of filmmakers in KwaZulu Natal, maybe focusing in the Zulu culture, others in the Eastern Cape focusing on the Xhosa cultures, other group in Northwest focusing on Setswana, etc., etc., etc. Using those proverbs, using those idiomatic expressions, making language fashionable. Now, if we only use one language, total those hijackings, is our life only about hijackings? Is our life only about crime? Are we really building the whole person there? We've got children here who are developing. Do you think that they'll be in good understanding, in good terms with our cultures, with our languages, if most of the content in the films is only crime, fightings, rapes, all those things you mentioned them, which I really believe that we can use this industry maybe to change the perspective of our young generation, to show them that there's more to culture, there's more to language, apart from all other these things that are being shown to them. And you know, negative things are easy to grab and to practice. Now, if you take your kids and then place them in such a platform, what do you think will happen? It will take them a lot for them to change. So as a society, somehow we are facing in a direction of death. So I think film can help to change that. Media can help to change that perspective.
Okay. All right.
Hence using, hence promoting culture uh, in whatever way possible. In whatever way possible, dressing norms, uh, and other things that are part of our heritage and culture.
No doubt, no doubt. No, thank you so much for that. That's very, very insightful. Um, we do take it in, and I think that you are making quite a lot of sense. Mr. Ishmael, coming back to you, what is your take on those dub productions, as they are called.
Dr. Ishmael and Mr. B, I think I finally have a proper signal on. Can you hear me now?
Yebo, now you are better.
I really apologize for the bad internet line that we've just been going through, but I'd let the conversation continue and that Ishmael answer. But I really appreciated the conversation as it was going. To just say, I really think that what Tensia just said goes back to policy, sir. It was the policy of Mzansi Magic to make sure that they started this thing called something, Isibaya, Isitembu, Isibanibani, because the numbers told them that isiZulu is the highest spoken indigenous language. It was the numbers that told them that if they produce in Setswana, they have a small audience of Setswana people that will watch that. So they made a decision that was based on apartheid policies to just say, we are going to produce for the most, and it makes sense for them. It is really up to us to say, as Botswana, we are going to do it for ourselves. We cannot depend on the national government. We cannot depend on the ABC, or even depend on multi-choice. That's the last person we should be depending on. I throw a challenge to say, as the three of us sitting here, what was our last favorite Setswana television show? What was our last favorite Setswana feature film? And what are we going to do about it today to make sure that next year when we come back to the Rustenburg Film Festival, we've done something and we are not saying so and so has done this or has not done that. Matlakiaruna, only play right. It's a Botswana. Only the provincial policy. It starts there, sir, and I'll leave it at that by saying we need to just come together and take the responsibility ourselves, because there are lots of good initiatives that are happening, but we are not coming together as Botswana to say we all want to claim our space in this television content creation space. I'm sorry I was not available to connect earlier, but I just wanted to make that point. I apologize.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. No problem, Mr. Lebone. Do not worry much. We understand internet troubles. They are everywhere. I want to thank you, gentlemen, for spending some time with us. And thank you so much for this moment. I think we did get something. The filmmakers that are going to watch this session or that are watching this session right now, they indeed got something. So we truly, truly appreciate. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you are here at the venue at Kingsgate, please do join us. We are running sessions in most of the areas here. We have got sessions running at the main hall, and we've got sessions running in two halls. Actually, you can go to hall number 1, and you can also go to hall number 2. On that, we thank you. I think the session can now end. Bye-bye. Truly appreciate. Thank you.
You are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much
for the opportunity.
All right. Bye-bye.
Essa vitória